You know, man, I hope things are well when we come with you with a challenge. We've kind of talked about it in the past, is sin. I'm reading through Deuteronomy. Me and Bethany decided that we're going to read through the Bible together, which has been good. It's increased our conversation about the Bible with questions to each other, and just I think it's very good as a couple going through Scripture together. And so, but we're reading through. We just started Joshua, but one of the things I learned looking through Deuteronomy is how God just doesn't put up with sin, plain and simple. He gets rid of it and gets rid of it quick. And if you go to Deuteronomy 17:1 or 17:2, it says, "If a man or woman living among you in one of the towns the Lord gives you is found doing evil in the eyes of the Lord your God, and in violation of his covenant, and contrary to my commands, has worshipped other gods, bowing down to them, or to the sun, or to the moon, or the stars in the sky, and this has been brought to your attention, then you must investigate thoroughly. If it is true, it has been proved that it is a detestable thing has been done in Israel. Take the man or woman who has done the evil deed to your city gates and stone them and put them to death." So you've got a person right here that is worshiping other gods. And basically the consequence for that is death. And we see that God does not play with that. If you keep reading through Deuteronomy, you'll see the phrase that is kind of laid out there a bunch. It says, "You must purge the evil from among you," or "You must purge the evil from the camp." It's a phrase that he uses throughout this scripture, or throughout Deuteronomy. And so we see that God doesn't put up with sin. And if God doesn't put up with sin, we shouldn't either. And I think the reason God doesn't put up with sin is because he knows what sin does. Sin, one, destroys us. It destroys our relationship with him. It destroys our relationship with our family. Sin is something that we do not need to play around with. You know, I had a melanoma mole removed 7 years ago. It's in my calf. I've got a nice 4-inch scar by probably 2.5-inch scar. When they found that it was melanoma, I mean, the doctor didn't say, "You know what, we're going to watch it. We're just going to kind of let it sit there on the leg and not do nothing." He said, "We're going to go in and get it, and we're going to get it quickly." You know, once they found out, within a month, I'd had the melanoma removed. And because you don't play around with something like that. But sin in our life, you know, a lot of times we'll play around with it. We know that there is lust in our mind. We know there's pride. We know there's greed. We know there's, idol worship. We know that sin is prevalent in our life, and we just leave it there. We don't snuff it out. We don't kill it. We don't reach in there with a knife and cut it out because of the destruction it caused. But we see in Deuteronomy that God does not play with sin, and that like I said, here's somebody getting caught worshiping another god, and they go out and stone them to death. You go into when the Israelites go into the promised land, God basically says, "Hey, destroy everything in that area." You know, everything. When you take a city, you destroy everything. And I always thought, well, why did God do that? You know, why is God, coming in and doing that? It's because of the sin. He knew that if the people that were in the promised land stayed with the Israelites, that the sin from those people would basically come into the camp of the Israelites. And so here's my challenge, guys. Start praying. And this is not a prayer that a lot of us would like to do. I don't like to do it, but pray that God search me and know me and point out the sin in my life that I might get rid of it. And then get rid of it. Ask God, if you're struggling with lust, if you're struggling with greed, if you're struggling with pride, say, "God, I cannot do it on my own. I cannot get rid of this lust. I cannot get rid of this greed. I cannot get rid of this pride on my own. I need you to do it." And so that's my challenge, guys. Get rid of the sin. Don't let it hang around, because it will have lasting consequences. Y'all have a good week.